go ahead and open things up tonight. We appreciate you all taking the time to join us. Last fall, when we started down this road, when Mr. Stone proposed this program, I'd never heard of Zoom, much less thought that we'd be having a informational meeting about this new program over Zoom. But here we are. Looks like we're going to have to get used to it for at least the next little while. And we appreciate you all taking the time and the effort to be here tonight. We're excited about this 75-25 program. It's the first time that KACD has attempted to do this. So we're going to tell you right up front, as we roll this thing out and get started later this fall and the first of next year, because this is a brand new way of doing things, I can promise you that there's going to be some things to work out as we move forward. It's just assured that there will be. But Crystal and Sonia have both been working really hard to hopefully get this as seamless as possible at the beginning. If there are issues, I promise you that we'll work through them as quickly as we can. But I think I can speak on behalf of the board and tell you that we are really excited about this program and the opportunity that it affords. When I first came on the board several years ago, when we went to Washington, D.C., or anytime we met with our congressional delegation, the very first thing that we always talked about and the last thing that we talked about was technical assistance and the fact that we needed more people on the ground in Kentucky to put conservation on the ground. And this is a huge opportunity for us to be able to do that in Kentucky. And I think in the long run, we'll be happy that we have gone down this road. And I think it's going to be a great benefit to conservation in the future. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Crystal and let her give you some details about the program. I just had a message pop up. It occurred to, and it's exactly right. I didn't tell you who I am. My name is Shane Wells, and I am the president of the Kentucky Association of Conservation Districts, and I'm from Butler County. And so Crystal Renfro is our executive director of the Kentucky Association of Conservation Districts, and she is going to be responsible for a lot of the implementation of this program. And then I think Sonia Keith, who is the assistant state conservationist, is going to be helping with some of the details tonight. And so Crystal, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay.
And if you see me disappear in a few minutes, I've still got some hay that's going to have to be rolled before it rains tomorrow. So I may slide out of here in a little bit. But if you have any questions that Crystal can't answer, we'll take those down. I'm sure she'll be able to answer most of them. But if there's an issue that you have that we don't have an answer, we'll jot that down and we'll get back to you just as quick as we can. So Crystal, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Shane. And thank you all for joining us here tonight. Like Shane had mentioned, I know some of you all were unable to attend the area meetings. We were able to do 4 before the COVID-19 situation, so there was 5 areas that we did not get to hit. So that's mainly why we wanted to join you all tonight and have anyone join us that wanted to join in. I'm going to show a very short presentation. It's just maybe 5 slides and talk to you all a little bit. If I can figure it out, I was practicing earlier. So let's see if I can share my screen with you all. Like Shane said, when we started this, we never thought Zoom was going to be a part of the program, but here we are. Let's see here. Like Shane said, this is a program that NRCS approached us with a few months back, solely because they're wanting to get more technical assistance on the ground and more boots on the ground. And we could not agree more. So we were very happy to work with them and to offer this program to the conservation districts, because we know that's what we do, is to get work on the ground. Let's see here if I can get it to. Okay, the main goal of this project, by the way, this presentation, I should let you all know, and all the presentations that were given at the area meetings this year are on the KACD website. I've sent that link out to all the administrators in the offices. So if you haven't seen that, just give me an email or something real quick, and we'll set you up so you can be able to see all presentations are on their website from the area meetings. The main goal of this 75-25 program is to, like I said, apply more conservation on the land by obtaining 50+ soil conservation technical type positions across the state. So when you talk about adding 50 people across the state, I mean, that's a pretty large number. So I mean, we really want to get as many people out there as possible. So that's something that we hope to be able to flood each area with as many of these people as we can. NRCS will provide up to $1.8 million to KACD to meet this goal. This funding will be used to, first and foremost, pay up to 75% for the soil conservation technician's salary, which is the most important thing. They will also pay a portion of the employee's benefits, and that's something I can work with each district individually, because what we have found is that each district offers different benefits. We are encouraging all districts that take on this program to offer benefits, if at all possible, because we know that's the best way to keep employees around and keep good employees around. So as you all apply for this program, I will work with you all individually to see what type of benefits you do offer and come up with that portion individually. And they're also going to pay KACD to administer the program. That's where I come in. As the program has been right now is the 50-50s. NRCS has been receiving reports from all the different counties that has a 50-50. And now what they're doing is just going to receive one master report from KACD. So I get to receive all the reports, which is fine. I enjoy and I look forward to working with all the counties, but we just wanted to kind of streamline this procedure to NRCS and make it easier for them. Of course, with the 1.8 million at the area meetings, Greg was sitting there with us, Mr. Stone, the state conservationist, and I shared with everyone that Greg is a super nice guy. We enjoy working with him greatly, but he's not giving us $1.8 million for nothing. He does have expectations from us, and that's something that I'm glad that he does, because we want to be held accountable for this money. It's such an honor to take it on. What they expect is to have additional field staff to assist with conservation efforts across the state, of course, which are these 75-25 individuals. The staff to be able to work where the conservation workload exists. So NRCS will have a say in where these positions are, and you know, where the main workloads are, where these people will be going. We want them to be able to have something to do and while they're working. They would like to have a voice in hiring the staff and also be involved in performance reviews. We're actually very thankful for this, because they are obviously the experts when it comes to technical assistance, and they are the people that know the quality of person that they're looking for. So we're really thankful that they are willing to sit in on the hiring and performance reviews of these people. They also would like to assist with locating employees where adequate resources exist. That's one of the major things, is that, you know, we can't put an employee somewhere where there's not a server or an ability for them to pull up different kind of NRCS programs, whether it be ArcMap or Toolkit or whatever they're using now. We have to make sure that they have that computer system in there to be able to work with the NRCS staff, and also have an extra desk or office or space just physically for the person to be there. So NRCS will help us with all of those things as we move forward with this process. KACD's role, what I will be doing as well as the KACD board, we will be the primary point of contact for any questions or issues. You're more than welcome to contact me anytime during this process of you all contemplating on whether to apply for it, or afterwards. I will be the person you come to with questions. My door is always open, so please holler at me anytime. We will work with NRCS to determine these locations. Like I said earlier, you know, we do want these positions to go where the workload is, and that's something that NRCS has asked us to help with. KACD will be who is providing reimbursement to the district. The way it works now is that the districts that have these employees submit an invoice type to NRCS every quarter or month. We haven't really decided how we're going to handle that yet, but from when this program starts, they will then be submitting those to me, and KACD will actually be sending the checks out to the districts for those invoices. KACD will, like I said, submit all required reports to NRCS in a uniform manner. That's one thing that NRCS is very excited about, is that they're just going to have a one-stop shop for their reports. Let's see, to ensure employees hired in this agreement are being utilized as intended. You know, we want to make sure that the employees are being used for NRCS type projects. things like that. So we just want to make sure that they are utilized. Let's see, I do have a question. Will these tech employees be located at current NRCS offices? That is one question I just received, and that's something that we're working with. I know that, you know, these employees will be attached basically to the lead DC. I currently work in an office that is not an NRCS office. And I work with KACD part-time, and part-time I work at the Estill County Conservation District. We are interested in one of these people, and we do expect them to work in our office a portion of the time too. So they're not just solely in offices where NRCS presence is currently at. So that's something that we will be working on. Let's see. There we go, conservation district role. The conservation districts yourself will be the employers of these technicians. We will be passing the money on to you all, but you all will actually be who employs these people. They will be able to provide adequate resources. Like I said earlier, we need to make sure there's plenty of office space, internet connectivity, computers and such as that, which NRCS typically does provide the computers for these people. Conservation districts will be required to submit documentation to KACD for reimbursement. One thing that's a little bit different with the 75-25 opposed to the 50-50 is that we're asking for these employees to be paid between $16 and $20 an hour. The reason for this figure is that that is what an incoming NRCS technician makes. So we want to make these people as level playing field as possible as any NRCS technician that would come on board. The district needs to ensure that NRCS is involved in hiring the staff. You know, we want to make sure that NRCS knows when you are doing interviews, whenever the advertisement's been put out, you know, just to make sure that they have a voice. To, like I said, also ensure that they're part of the performance reviews, and to allow the employee to work wherever the workload is needed, included outside their county. So, you know, we think that they will work in your county some, but if there's a major project that's going on in another county that's in that work unit, you know, that day they will need to go and work with the lead DC on that program or project that they currently have. So that's kind of how it works, is that they will be attached to that lead DC and go where they need to go. Let's see, we have another question that's come through. Will the current 50-50 employees be automatically eligible for the 75-25 grant? Also, will KACD handle the SAM/DUNS information, or will districts be responsible for that? From my understanding, the current employees that are 50-50 will automatically, if your district is interested, roll over into the 75-25 program. We are going to put out some guidelines on how that will take place. If they are interested, they will be automatically eligible if they're currently employed as a 50-50. With the SAMs and DUNS number, KACD will handle all that. So that's something that we will work on, and that you all just work. We're just the middleman between NRCS and you all. So that's something we will take care of. But let's see if I can keep rolling here. And that's really, like I said, it was a very brief presentation. Let me stop that and get back to the screen here. You know, we just wanted to throw out what each party was responsible for, and that was kind of what I gave at the area meetings, and just opened it up for questions, because that's really, you know, the more questions that we receive, the better we understand the program, and hopefully able to help you all understand the program better. So is there any more questions that's floating around?
I was wondering how often or how much they would be maybe called out of our county.
Well, I mean, the way we're looking at, you know, probably 75% of the time. So, I mean, they can't really get, sorry.
I don't mean, what do you mean 75% of the time?
I mean, during a normal work schedule, 75% of their time will have to be devoted to NRCS work. So it could be county work, it could be out of county work. So it just depends on what that lead DC needs them to be doing. So, I mean, let's say if there's NRCS work to be done in the county, of course, you know, they would get to do that first, and then, but we really can't guarantee the amount of hours or days a week or anything like that they will be in the office. But we're hoping that at least 25% of the time that they will be there. So what is that, like a day and a half a week at least is their kind of average, we're thinking.
But the county will be priority for them.
NRCS
County
work will be in priority. So, you know, my assumption, and Sonia may jump in if this is different, that, you know, if there's NRCS work to be done in that county, I would assume that that would be their top priority since they're stationed there. Is that how you all look at it, Sonia?
Well, I think so. The way that we are looking at this from an NRCS standpoint is on that work unit basis, which, you know, is we have 12 work units across the state. And that's why we are attaching these people to those lead DCs or supervisory district conservationists. So our thought process and the way that we've been working for the last several years is kind of on a team concept. So we want to be able to pull those technicians to wherever there is NRCS work in that work unit that needs to be done, realizing that we're talking about kind of entry-level soil conservation technician type people, and there's a lot of field work that they may be able to do in other counties, but that will free up other personnel. Maybe if you need a more specialized person to come into your county, that frees up NRCS staff to maybe service your county, you know, more frequently than they would be able to without those people. So that's one of the reasons that Greg upped this to 75%, is because he wants to be able to utilize them on NRCS or Farm Bill related activities within that work unit. But he is looking at it from that big picture kind of standpoint. If you have a work unit team that has 5 additional soil conservation technicians through the 75-25 agreement, then you're going to have a lot more boots on the ground in general. So we hope to be able to more adequately cover all of the counties with this additional work with all of the staff that's available, including the technicians and the NRCS staff.
Okay. We have another question that's come in. Can this technician be hired by more than one district? Can they be shared by 2 districts? And absolutely, they can be shared by as many districts that would like to go in. I know, like I said, in Estill County, we are thinking about going with some of our neighboring counties to see if they would like to partner with us 50-50. I know a lot of the 50-50s that are currently out there is handled like that. Harrison County, I see Kaylee on, Harrison County shares theirs with Scott County. So they are more than welcome to share. There are some instances in work group or work units like Franklin County, where Franklin County pays for 100% of the 25%, but they share it with everyone. So, you know, it works in different ways, but multiple counties can go in and put up part of the money, and then they can work partially in one county, partially in another county. But once again, their most responsible work would be to NRCS Farm Bill projects. What is the timeline for this program? Is the next question I've got here. That's something that we've been working on. We have technically not signed an agreement yet with NRCS. We have the agreement formed, it is ready, and we have submitted that to their national office for review for grants. And basically we're in a holding stage right now, just waiting until they submit that back to us. Once that is back to us, which we're not insured on what date that will be, we think that probably after we receive that, we plan on putting out a request for proposals to the districts and giving you all 60 days to be able to work with your other districts, your neighboring districts, to work with your current board to see if you know, you can pull the money together, whatever you all need to do. So approximately 60 days for that. We then will request for letters of intent. Basically, we're just looking for a letter that's stating that you all currently have one of these people or you're interested in these people and why. We will give out more information on that whenever we have a deadline set for that. Then after that, KACD and NRCS will review those letters of intent. At that point, if the existing employee is there as a 50-50, we think that they at that point will be able to transfer over to the 75-25. So you're looking anywhere between 60 and 90 days for that. If you're hiring someone brand new, at that point, we think that we will then have the districts advertise the position for 30 days, then interview the applicants, take about 30 days. So for some districts, it could be upwards of four months if they're a new hire. If they're a current 50-50, we think that process will be a lot faster. So that's since we're dealing with two different types, that makes it a little harder to answer that. But that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Next question has come in is, does this mean the position is automatically theirs if they are interested, or do they have to interview? If they are currently 50-50, from my understanding, they will just be rolled over as a 75-25 if you all send the letter of, or attend or request. That's something we will work with each individual district, and that's where everyone is. I mean, each district is so different. So, I mean, I'm really going to be working with each of you all individually to be able to make this project really get on the ground.
No, well, I can do.
Oh, excuse me? Someone have a question? Okay. So that's something I think the people that are currently 50-50s will be automatically rolled over into be the 75-25s. And that's how we're planning on doing anyways. Do we have any more questions?
What qualifications will these technicians need to apply for these positions?
Okay, I have each district should have received at some point. I sent out a sample of what they're going to be looking for, position description. Basically, it says the major duties. Let's see if it says qualifications. So like I said, I did send these out to the district, so they should be able to provide this to you. Let's see.
Hey, Crystal.
I mean, I don't. Do you know right offhand, Sonia, what your all's incoming?
Well, I think the biggest question that we get is if they're going to require like a college degree or something like that, and the answer is no. We consider these kind of entry level. We do want to know if they have ag background and what kind of background that would be, but they don't need to have like a college degree or a certain amount of years of experience in that. And we do want to make sure, so the current 50-50s, Crystal mentioned they would roll over, but any new additional positions, we do want to have an NRCS person at the table along with the districts to make sure they do qualify and they do meet what, you know, the type of person that we want for these positions. In the past, I think there's been some issues with that, just that communication from the district side and from the NRCS side. So we want to make sure that everyone's sitting at the table for any new applicants that apply.
And this would also, as far as screening process, resumes that come in before we even want to start interviewing.
Yes, I think that's the plan. Don't let me talk over you, Crystal.
No, absolutely not. No, thank you, Sonia.
But we're hoping that that you all will, however the districts would do that, however you would announce a position, and give you all a month or so to do that, to get the resumes in, or however you do applications or resumes, whatever you typically do. And then at that point, when you see what kind of interest you got and people who applied, is when we would try to sit down and review those.
Okay, thanks.
Will each district advertise for their position?
Yes,
separately?
each district that we sign an agreement with. So if your county is the lead county, if you're partnering with another county, you will do the advertising for that position. Let's say you and a neighboring county is going in together, you will want somebody from your district as well as their district on the interview panel. But whichever county is the quote unquote lead county will be the one that's responsible for that. Of course, you would want to advertise it in the other county as well.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
What
we have
about
it. I'm sorry,
I
go
have
ahead.
a question about the benefits. Is the benefits going to be uniform across the state, and what kind of cost will there be for those fringe benefits?
Okay, what we're looking at right now, NRCS has agreed to pay 75% of the benefits, not to exceed 25% of the salary. So, like I said, it depends on what kind of retirement package this person has, if they're in state retirement, or if you all have a separate 401k. It just, each district's going to be totally different. I've worked with one district not too long ago that they offer retirement but not health insurance. So for them, it was basically going to cover 75% of the retirement, the FICA, that benefits that you have to pay, and it was going to cover that, but not health insurance. So it really depends on what type of plans you are going with. And I can, like I said, I can work with you all individually to kind of throw some numbers around to see what that will be. But that amount cannot exceed 25% of the employee's salary. And that's kind of the reason they went with that, is that's kind of how the federal employees are set up. We want to make these positions, like I said, as equal as possible to the incoming soil technicians from NRCS. And that's how their setup is. Okay, let's see. We've got a few more questions then sent to me here. Will the current employees who are not 50/50s be required to apply and compete with other applicants? That's something we have not discussed, I don't believe. If they're not currently 50/50s, I would assume that they would have to compete with other applicants. Because they're not in the program currently. So we're not sure, what the qualifications are. So does that sound right? I mean, for your all's standpoint, Sonia, would that be someone who's not a current 50/50, but a district employee?
Right. So the current 50/50s kind of get a free pass. They do not have to compete. The way that the process will work is those letter of intent, districts will send in the letter of intent. And then KACD and NRCS will notify those districts if they get a position. So there's a possibility, that we could get more letters of intent than we have people that we can hire. So let's just say Ohio County sends in a letter of intent and they get one of the positions. If they advertise that position there, all those applicants for Ohio County will compete together. If you have Davies County next door that gets a letter of intent and they get in a position as well, they would be competing against whoever applied in Davies County. Does that make sense? So you're not going to be competing. I don't know exactly what the question is. You're not going to be competing statewide for those new positions. You're going to be competing in that district.
Okay, well, what if, I think the question is, like, I'm a district employee at the Estill County Conservation District, but I'm not a 50/50. So do I have to compete with everyone who applies in Estill County? And I would assume yes. Yes. Just because I haven't been screened to see if I meet the requirements that NRCS has for these positions. That's correct. Kosher? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the only free passes really are the current 50/50s.
Just because they've already went through the interview process that you all are, with the qualifications you all are expecting. Okay, the next question is this employee a contract annually? This is something that KACD hasn't really ironed out all the bugs on. We haven't decided. I know we're hoping that they will sign a 5-year contract. This is a 5-year contract that we will have with NRCS. So if you are interested in a 5-year contract, I know that will be possible. One question I get is, will we sign individual 1-year contracts just to test it? And that's something I think will be available, but I can't, we haven't really hashed out those details yet as the board. So I really can't give that answer for certain. But I know that if the district is interested, they can enter at least a 5-year contract with us for this position. So I do know the maximum. I'm just not sure the minimum right now. So that's something that would give them a little job security for at least 5 years, and the district as well. Let's see some more questions here. Regarding benefits, will the districts be responsible for 25% of the benefits? Yes. The NRCS will pay 75% of the benefits, up to 25% of the salary. So the district could possibly be more than 25% responsible. It depends, like I said earlier, on what type of packages you all go with for retirement or health insurance or anything like that. And I will work with you all individually. We can throw some numbers around and I can give you a pretty good number. Before you commit to anything, we can definitely get something together for you to see what this position will cost, depending on, like I said, what current benefits you all offer now. Next question here is, would they be considered a federal employee or a district employee for benefits, retirement, etc.? They will be a district employee. This money is a federal money that's being passed through KACD to the districts to hire district employees. This is a way for NRCS to hire people without actually hiring people, I guess I could say. They will not be federal employees. They will be employees of the district board. They will be who supervises them on a regular basis, and they will have the local benefits, local retirement, whatever that district offers at the time or plan to offer. I know some districts I've talked to is interested in this program have not offered benefits in the past, but are looking into it now. So that's something I can work with you on as well, just to try to get some benefits lined up for all your staff if possible. Let's see. How do you determine who the lead county is if you're sharing? I think that's something you just need to work with each other, just kind of talk it out to see who would be willing to be the lead county would probably be my first question. If you're willing to do the work, because the lead county will be responsible for reporting to me all the work that this employee does and everything. So I would just work out between those counties that's interested and see which one would volunteer to be the lead county, I guess I should say. I don't know if any other experience of Kaylee. I know, how do you all go about sharing with Scott County?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Harrison County is the lead county. That was just a decision that when we went seeking a county to join us, we just offered to be the lead county. And so I handle the same time that we're sending in our monthly reports for reimbursement to NRCS. I have another invoice format that I send to Scott County, and they send us a check by the end of that next month. So I assume it'll probably be the same way, just for any districts that might be interested, understand that you're most likely going to put up the costs up front and then be reimbursed later. At least that's how it's handled now. So for June, we're paying it out and then we'll get reimbursed in July. So.
Right, and it will be handled the same way. It'll be a reimbursement. So you will pay the employee first and then apply for the reimbursement from KACD, and then we'll get the check to you. Another question here, someone that came in a little late, when do we see this being finalized so when we can start hiring? What I said earlier was that we have the agreement with NRCS, and it has been sent to the grants department in Washington, D.C. to be reviewed. It's kind of a waiting game with them. When we do get that back, we will sign the agreement with them. We're looking at probably a 60-day window for requests for proposals. So it gives the counties time to work with each other and see, who's going to pay what, who's going to bring what to the table, or if the county thinks that they can support it 100% on their own. So 60 days to work with other districts. Then submit those letters of intent. KACD and NRCS will then review those letters, and we're thinking at that point probably 60, possibly 90 days into it. If it's a current 50-50 employee, we think at that time they can roll over to be the 75-25. If not, then if you're hiring someone new off just off the field, at that point you would have to advertise for 30 days. We would suggest, and then interviews 30 days approximately to fit them in around board meetings and such. So you're looking at 90 to 120 days possibly to hire a new person in after we get the agreement signed. That's the only thing. We've sent it to DC. Sonia could get it back tomorrow, or she could get it back in September, October. We're not really sure how backed up they are. So it's kind of just a waiting game that we're currently in, just to see when we get that. But as soon as we get the contract back, I promise you, we're ready to go. We're ready to get this ball rolling, because we've been working on it for so long and want to get these people in the field and be able to assist, because we know there's such a backlog of work in a lot of areas. So we're trying to get this out as fast as possible.
Crystal, I will say that the worst case scenario would be that the agreement gets executed and we can start working in September. So,
okay.
It's federal money, and we have to get it obligated this fiscal year. So that's September 30th for us. Okay. So we have to get it out the door by then, and that would be worst case scenario. So we're hoping that we can get it, in July or even August, so we're not pushed to that September part. But
Right.
September would be.
Okay, well, thank you, Sonia. So that would be the absolute worst case. So hopefully, like I said, we're trying to get it pushed through as fast as possible. So any other questions of the group tonight? Yeah. And after tonight, if you all think of anything, you're more than welcome to contact me at any time. Like I said, I am in the Estill County Conservation District most days, so you can give me a call there or drop me an email, and I'd be glad to talk to you about it individually as well. Just to kind of, because we want to make sure that everyone is completely understands and is interested in the project or program. Will there be a summary for the information given tonight? We are recording tonight, so that this recording will be on our website. What we have done in the last meetings or the area meetings that we had, we kind of did pull some frequently asked questions out. So that's something that we probably will pull some questions from tonight, or some frequently asked questions. We will be doing the same meeting in July, I believe the 23rd. I don't have my calendar here with me right now, but I think the 23rd, and it's basically going to be the same format. I just explained the program a little bit and just open for questions, because we want to make sure that anybody and everyone who has questions get to ask. So you are more than welcome to join us then, because there may be some different questions asked. But like I said, we will probably pull out some frequently asked questions that we hear quite a bit, and put those in we have a fact sheet. I currently sent a fact sheet out to the district, so we'll currently keep working on that as we move forward with all the different questions that we get.
I have a question. This is Mike Farmer. This is all kind of new to us. You know, we were kind of spoiled with Kurt. And
Sure.
Do we have a list of basically the number of TAs we have now in the state and where they're located available?
I have a list of the current 50/50s that are out there.
But yeah, it probably as is where we are now. And I guess the other tie into that, and Sonia, you could probably help with this, is that, and we've always kind of heard about the conservation workload exists, you know, where the work is. Is that information available out there anywhere to the districts?
You know, I don't, that's a good question, Mike, and I'm not entirely sure. Just recently for NRCS, they have started doing what they call dashboards. So there are these national dashboards, and they are data insane. And so every certified conservation plan we do, it goes into that. Every engineering design that meets standards and specs goes into that. All of our CTA kind of stuff goes into that. And that is what we are required to use to hire people. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure that that's available to management staff in the state, but I don't think it's open to just the general public. But that could be something maybe that we could do, and it changes all the time. You know, they're updating those all the time.
Yeah, not trying to put you on the spot there. I myself was just looking, you know, with the absence of Kurt and the work that was going on. And Kurt was kind of, right. Very fortunate to kind of what I'm on show. The amount of work that he did was, I don't know. We're all just now finding out, but we're getting calls that they come in, and we want to make sure that, you know, the work that he's done in the past is, we feel the work is out there. We're definitely interested in hiring a TA. We don't want to lose the NRCS presence in Jefferson County. So much money has been brought into Jefferson County through having NRCS presence. So we want to keep that going. And I just want to make sure that work's included in the work model.
So the stuff that Kurt did, Mike, is on those dashboards that we look at. Yes. Yeah,
and it doesn't have to be open. Wide open. If we could just, I guess, talk about that sometime and just see what we think's out there to make sure that I do think the work is out there and it's going to be coming in there. And I just want to make sure that I feel we have enough full time to pick up where Kurt left off.
Yeah, and then, you know, there's all these new urban conservation initiatives, you know, too, that they could possibly take advantage of.
Right, because we have our urban ag person on contract, and she's just kind of being overwhelmed at this point. Mm-hmm. So, which she needs some help. And again, if I knew, so I could reach out to maybe some other districts. It's kind of new to us who are doing that, and just kind of go over that, how it's shared and stuff like that, if that's a possibility.
Yeah, and Mike, you could talk to Greta. She's the
Yeah,
supervisory
she was on our
DC.
meeting the other night, and I should have probably followed up with that.
Yeah, she would be a good one because she's worked
Right.
with several of these agreements with her districts.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, on our chat over here, Mr. Coleman has said that the next call is in fact the 23rd. He's got his calendar there. It will be the same time, 6:30 on the 23rd of July. We just wanted to have 2 separate meetings just in case people were busy one month and not the next. Next comment here is from Kaylee, and this is a great point that she brings up. Harrison County has a separate written agreement with Scott County just to make sure that everybody completely understands what the agreement is. And she's happy to share that, so I'll get with her and see if I can get a copy of that. So that's something we can use across the board, hopefully. Basically, what she's saying is that Harrison County has an agreement with NRCS for the position, but they wrote a separate agreement just to make sure Scott County knows that they're going to be responsible for this position for X amount of years. And I think it's a great idea to have both the individual counties sign an agreement together as well, just so everyone's on the same page. We want to make sure that both, or however many boards you're putting together, understands. Let's see here. Okay, is this going to be an ongoing process where they will be hiring year-round or until the money has been spent, and will there be hiring times? This may be something that Sonia may need to help me with. I assume we will keep spending until the money is gone.
Yeah, so Greg has committed $1.8 million this year to get this started and to get things going. I anticipate that we'll be continually filling and kind of shuffling things around. I mean, that's how it works with the current 50-50 agreements that we have. These are entry-level positions, so they do tend, a lot of the people kind of get trained up and then they move on. I will freely admit that NRCS steals quite a few of them from districts, but that's kind of what we want to get people in the door and get them trained for different opportunities. One of the reasons that we're not requiring, but we're hoping that districts will start offering benefits is so we can keep these people in these positions longer. But I do think that there will be just always, I don't know, we want 50 people. That's the goal at the moment. So once we reach that magic 50 number, if it stays pretty stable and there seems to be a lot of need for more, if Greg or the state conservationist is willing to put more money in to up that number, we can. But I think there'll be a continual process in keeping those 50 filled.
Okay. Any more questions tonight for us?
I'm trying to envision interviewing a person, and I guess the discussion is, if I was going to hire somebody, we'd want, how do you explain to them that, that they could, as far as travel, how much travel might be required? I'm thinking that, I think we have a lot of work here, but as you mentioned, if you decide, NRCS decide the work's elsewhere, that he or she's going to have to travel someplace else, how much time and how is that expense paid?
Well, the travel, Mike, will be within that work unit boundary. Okay. So
within
that
the
would be Greta's work unit. So it's all day travel kind of stuff.
Great, thank you.
So there shouldn't be any kind of overnight kind of stuff, unless there's like some training opportunities.
Right.
But day-to-day work should be day travel.
Okay, that's good, because I was just curious about that and hiring someone that, look.
Well, and these people, Mike, and these people also have either NRCS vehicle or be reimbursed for mileage.
Oh, okay.
So, that will be something, most of the travel will probably be during work time.
Reimbursed from NRCS?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
or a vehicle.
Or a vehicle, yeah. So just like, when Kurt was in Louisville, he had that vehicle there.
Yeah.
This person will have access to the vehicles in that Shelbyville work unit.
Okay.
But we are short on vehicles. So what NRCS did is we put a little bit of money, not a lot, because we're not exactly sure how much we'll need, but we put a little bit of money aside for a mileage reimbursement, 75%. So it's all 75%
Okay.
of that mileage reimbursement in a personal vehicle. We're hoping that they'll be able to use fleet vehicles for that.
Yeah, that's good. That clears up a lot. I was just trying to think of interviewing someone that, you know, how much their time would they be on the road, and or could be.
Yeah, and Greg Stone, he's relatively new to Kentucky, and he came in and he kind of had this idea, but I just want to let you all know he's offering, I'm just going to say, he's offering to pay 75% of this person. They're not going to be guaranteed to your county, but they're going to be guaranteed to your work unit. So 75% of this person, he is going to give them a computer. He is offering to pay 75% of benefits. He is offering to pay, if there's not a vehicle, he's offering to offset some of that mileage cost. So it's a pretty good deal.
It's a
I
great
agree.
deal. And just
No, I agree. I'm not, you know, that's a real sweetener. So that's good. It's all good.
like Sonia said, I mean, it's a great deal for all of us, but also, I mean, this is something that's only Kentucky's got going on right now. You know, this is something that Greg has brought to us, not in other states. I mean, this isn't like a national initiative or anything. This is just something that Greg has worked on himself. And we are very honored that he thanks as much of the conservation districts as he does to want to work with us like that. So it's a great honor from NRCS. We're tickled to death.
I agree.
Any more questions tonight? Any more comments, or are we good? Okay, well, if we don't have any more questions or comments tonight, we'll go ahead and conclude. I think has Shane already start cutting hay, I guess. So I will thank everybody for joining us tonight. We really appreciate all the interest across the state. And we're really excited about this program. And like I said, anytime, please contact me if you have any questions, even after this call, or even once you get one of these employees. I hope to be very active with each of these counties that has these employees. Hopefully by the time that this program gets rolled out, I will be working hopefully full-time with KACD, so I'll have more time to invest in these positions. So I'm very excited about that as well. This recording will be on our website whenever I can figure out how to do that, because I'm not very tech savvy, I'll be completely honest. So Sonia may have to help me with that. I don't know, we'll see. But once I get that figured out, we will have it on the website. And like I said, we'll be back here in July for more questions, and contact any of us or any of your KACD directors in your areas at any time. Thank you all.
Good job, Crystal.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Graham.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia.